Good evening, everybody. You're all very welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy what happens here over the next hour or so. To find out who our first guest is, let me hand you over to our MC for the evening, the beautiful Fred Cook.
Thank you, Tommy. Well, our first guest is Mr. Pete Doherty.
Well, how are you?
Not so bad, yes. How's yourself?
Great now.
Good?
Yeah.
This is nice, isn't it?
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sit down there now. And...
I will.
Yeah.
Hey.
You still in France?
I am. I live in Normandy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
How's that going?
Yeah, suits me, I think. Quiet, really. I live in a small village. My wife's, she's got a lot of family in the area.
Yeah.
We're not that long married. We've got a young baby daughter and the dogs. And actually, no, I say this a lot, that I lead quite a quiet life with the baby and the dogs, but in actual fact, I'm on the road half the time, you know, playing and touring with the Libertines and solo stuff.
Yeah.
So it's that dichotomy of, you know, the quiet life with the dogs and then going off and flogging it.
And yearning for one when you're in the other?
Basically, yeah, that's how I see it.
So,
I feel like
something,
I'm going out hunting sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But we made an agreement, me and Katia, my missus, that if we were going to do it and have the baby, and we were going to take her everywhere, so we do that.
How old is she?
18. She's 18 months now.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you got kids?
I've 6.
Oh yeah. Oh, go on, Tommy. All right.
And how's is it easy for Dad to get kind of twizzled on the road if Mom and baby are there? Do you
yeah,
feel
it's almost impossible for me not to, actually. I'm still really struggling with, although I've managed to sort of curb the, you know, the harder stuff, it's still, you know, like the just basic things like diet and alcohol and not sleeping and acting daft, those things remain. So when Catty is there and the baby's there, it's, you know, we just all snuggle up in the bunk on the bus every night, and it's basically a bit like being at home, but
Do you feel? I'm asking you. What do you owe your talent?
What do I owe my talent?
Not what do you owe your talent to?
No, what do I owe the talent?
Yeah.
Well, you're like personifying the talent.
Well, the idea that you have a gift that you didn't deserve, because no one deserves a gift because it's given to you. So you have this rare talent. What do you owe it?
I feel like I've settled. I kind of feel like without being comfortable or without it being amicable, I feel like I've settled all my debts, really. I think there were times when I owed it a lot, but I think I've settled all those debts now, and it's almost like we can start again, you know.
So you've squared off your end of the deal.
Well, I was thinking of the gift as being a songwriter, but maybe I'm not even really. Maybe there's something else that I haven't quite tapped into yet, because I always feel like I'd failed in my original artistic dream, longing, which was to write fiction and write poetry, and I never quite had the discipline to do it, and so I used melody as a way of propping up. So what something lacked as a short story, you could just chop it up and give it a beautiful melody, and it could become, but it never was what I intended it to be, which was, you know, a beautiful radio play or a monologue, you know.
But you chose well, though.
Yeah, no, but maybe I owe my gift a little bit more discipline and graft, really. I think I was always a pleasure seeker individual, like a what's the term? Not an opium eater, a lotus eater.
Yeah.
I always thought of myself as one of them, you know, and indulged myself wherever possible in most things, and always thought, well, if I just write one song tonight, that would be enough and it would justify everything else.
Yeah.
All the mess. And for me, that was it. That was always enough. It was never... I never really thought of myself as a genuine craftsman, but I think I could be if I like got my head down. You know what I mean?
Is it too late?
No, absolutely not. It's just the beginning, man. This is it. It's just the beginning.
You're a newcomer. Are you in good health?
Sort of ruddy-ish, you know. But with the onset, I think there's some, you know, diabetes issues and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not that arsed about it, really. I don't really... I think I've had a good run, you know. I'm
You're
all
not-
right.
are you dying?
I suppose, in a way, I've got quite bad lungs. The bronchial thing pops up every now and again, you know. So I end up having to, you know, take a course of antibiotics, and it goes away, thankfully. But occasionally, I'll end up in, you know, in a hospital bed with having to get the antibiotics on a drip. That seems to be happening like most winters now, maybe twice a year. And the diet, really. I can't seem to stop. Like, I've managed to stop, you know, opiates and crack, but I can't not do it. When that moment comes and the cheese is there and the Calvados is there, and I have to choose between the cheese or the diabetes, I seem to go for the cheese. So this is, I don't know if this is some other form of addiction, but I seem to sacrifice my health for these things I enjoy. Yeah. But there is going to come a point when it's still going to come on top. I mean, I'm 40. I was born in '79, so I'm 40. I was 45 this year. It's not that old.
No,
you
no.
know?
I always thought that I've never done it, but I've always thought crack was an ugly drug. Can you tell me about it?
I think if it's cut with meth or cut excessively with the chemicals that make you like into a sort of clenched-jawed, paranoid state, I think there's definitely an ugliness to it, and also the sense of amorality, this sort of superpower amorality you have. That's all ugly, but I sort of saw it in a different way. I think when you get that really clean one, and it's more of a creamy, loose, melodic ska type drug rather than a, you know, 200 BPM house, like street robbery type vibe. I preferred but alas, because of the nature of the drug and the nature of addiction, that loose, creamy ska vibe tends to eventually become the 200 BPM paranoid snatching phones on Camden High Street. So, but I know what you mean, yeah.
You've done well to come to the far side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you do that?
Well, the honest answer is through my wife, really, who gave me the ultimatum. In the end, I can't be with you. If you do this, I can't be with you. We can't, you know, because we always wanted to have kids, and she was adamant that I couldn't do that around the kids, so it was for her, really, you know.
Yeah. Looking back, can you, like, I know a fella, and I met him when he was about 3. And I knew when I met him, even though he's only 3, that he was going to be a dope smoker. And he is. I'm asking, are you upset?
Right?
Are you upset?
I don't feel upset at all. I just think I connected with something true that I don't really say out loud, you know, so much.
Which was?
No, that I did it for her, you know. And I probably didn't really want to, you know. And this is the ongoing battle, and this is the monster of addiction. Yeah, I was gonna. But how did you know your mate was gonna smoke dope?
I don't know. There's something about. I don't know. And I saw him when he was 3, and there's something about him. That kid's gonna be a dope smoker. So I'm just asking, like, was there, when you think of Tiny Pete, I kind of going, when I was 4 or 5, I was the same.
No.
Oh, really?
I don't think so, no. I was quite I mean, I suppose I had my moments, but I think I was quite a disciplined, not angelic, but very innocent kid, really, you know? Kind of sheltered in many ways, you know? Like, my dad was, he was in the British Army, you know, whisper it. But, and my mother was quite religious, so, you know what I mean? We were always like the army kids who would jump to attention. We were all like petrified of my dad, and, you know, we loved him and respected him, but, you know, put the fear of God into us. Wasn't really till I left home. I just developed this fascination, particularly with opiates, and laudanum, and this romanticised idea of these things. And then once I got out there into the world, I realised how difficult these things were to actually find. You know, if you actually to find anything of quality, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like Victorian Piccadilly where you could walk down and buy yourself an urn of opium. It's hard work keeping an addiction like that going. You know what I mean? The amount of juggling and then the fact that it's also, well, it's illegal. You know what I mean? So you're always running that gauntlet, and then you end up sick in a cell. You know what I mean? The only Victorian thing is the prison, really. They're all still Victorian. Which was atmospheric, but that was definitely ugly, that side of it. You know,
So hard on your body, all that, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But when you're 27, 28, you can just, you know, you can do 12 weeks in jail and come out fitter than ever. And like, now I'm raring to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you bump into Shane McGowan much when you were?
Yeah. Here and there. I was working in a bar the first time I met him. He came in, he ordered a pint of Cinzano with a red wine next to it. And I don't want to, you know, but for me, this was a glorious moment that he would, like, A, I was serving him a drink, and B, it was a pint of Cinzano and red wine. Our paths sort of crossed. I was always trying to get him to come and watch my band. We were sort of called the Libertines, but we weren't. We had like a 70-year-old man on drums, and it wasn't as it became. We were more like the bootleg Beatles then than the Pistols. You know? We were 18, 19. And then over the years, I like to think he kept an eye out on things. You know, I was always trying to get him to come. I used to put on these poetry nights in the bar, and he'd always promise to come. Hey, I'll be there. Support the arts, Pete. And he'd never come. And then a few years later, after the Libertines had been signed and I'd made a bit of a name for myself, we bumped into each other, and he said, "So," what did he say? He said, "So, now you're the most obnoxious man in pop. How does it feel?" And I'm great. Yeah. And we had those, for me, really magical moments where I just got to sit with him like this, with a guitar.
Yeah.
And he'd say, "Right, come on then, what you got?" And I'd play in some songs. And it was always hard to tell what he thought of it, but sometimes he'd, you know, give me some tips on lyrics or, you know.
Yeah. Was Nick Cave another? I'm trying. I associated you with Shane just with somebody who has addiction issues and a phenomenal talent, and then Nick came into my head as well. Was there an awareness of when you all met each other, were kind of cut from the same cloth or anything?
Yeah, I remember once, it was at the South Bank Centre. It was one of those festivals where someone curates.
Oh, yeah.
What's that called? You know the one I mean?
Yeah, Meltdown.
Meltdown. So it was a Meltdown. I can't remember who was curating it. I think it might have been Shane's Meltdown, but it ended up with me, Shane McGowan, Nick Cave and Jarvis Cocker all around the same microphone doing a song I'd never heard of. It's called The Dog Song from Lady and the Tramp, where we just had to howl. And I just really got this sense that although I knew Shane and we had our arms around each other and we were having a laugh, I got the sense that Nick and Jarvis were like, "Who's this dickhead?" Like, you know, I got that. And when I've seen photos of it, I can see Giles looking at that. You know what I mean? I was gutted because you wanted it to be like with Shane, where they put your arm around you and
Brother.
and like and you can go off and have a laugh together. But
Yeah.
but these are the things that keep you going. Like when I sometimes, maybe even in my subconscious, when I'm writing songs, I'm thinking, right, maybe one day Noel Gallagher or Jarvis Cocker will hear this song and think, that Pete Doherty can write a tune. I must get in touch with him.
How's the songwriting going?
Starting from about the time Billy May was born, my daughter, I just had this really prolific couple of months where I wrote 4 or 5 songs in a really short space of time. And then a few more have come along, and then I got 11 or 12, so I've put an album together, and it's done now, and it's mixed, and now it's mastered, and that's going to come out once all the Libertines stuff's done.
Yeah.
I'm going to release the solo album.
What are the recent songs? Will you sing something for us?
I'll sing you something, yeah?
Yeah,
You want me to
please.
sing something? Okay. So I was going to call the album If You Can't Fight, Wear a Big Hat, but my manager thought it was really silly. And so I'm going to call it Felt Better Alive. Gave my nights up for old songs, sound better alive. I give my life up for old songs, felt better alive. I dredged them out of the humber, felt better mine. And I slipped unnoticed across your border, felt better alive. But as the song gets skips and bumps along, seems to fall apart, then all at once it came together, sacred melody. Well, I tiptoed around gravestones, digging up old songs, felt better than mine. I tiptoed around gravestones, digging up old songs. Was a hell of a night. And as the song gets skips and bumps along, seems to fall apart, then all at once it comes together, sacred melody. But I always planned to sing in a sweet and soulful way, like only cowboys can. But my saddle strap snapped like a dog chewed tourniquet, and the sky fell low over West London. It hangs low until this day. I dreamt of gunfights in Toledo when I opened my eyes. I was in a lay-by north of Telford, an A-road lay by. And as the tour it bumped and jumped along, seemed to fall apart, then all at once ran true as a ley line on a sacred Albion. And I always planned to sing in a sweet and soulful way, like only cowboys can. Oh, but my saddle strap snapped like a dog chewed tourniquet. When the sky hangs low over Margate Sands, yeah, and it hangs low, yes, I gave it all up for old songs. Felt better alive.
It's lovely, isn't it? It's lovely.
You like it?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. It's,
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I gave it all up for old songs, felt better alive. Give my life over to old songs, felt better alive.
You're a lovely man.
Ah, get over. You love man yourself. Come here, give us a big hug.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sit down there now. Thank you. What's the shape of a day for you like at home? What's the shape of a day?
It's not really about the baby, to be honest. It's just around her, you know? That she's safe, or if she needs changing or feeding, and then we've got 2 quite big dogs and they need quite a bit of exercise as well, so it's balancing all that, you know? It's so... But I'm so used to now to jumping into that almost formulaic way of going out and being in a band or performing, you know? This thing I do, which I like to think of as, you know, melodic incantation and poetry, it's actually it's a product as well, unfortunately, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I have to do to get, because I've been terribly lax in my, you know, business dealings and financial affairs. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. So, you know, we're living at my parent-in-law's, and so just hold on tight to those moments. Like, these like sacred moments where I do have 2 other children, but I wasn't there when they were growing up or anything, you know? So this is something really sacred and precious. So it's just that we're like kind of cocooned, you know? I don't know what shape that is, so whatever shape a cocoon is.
Are you okay with the fact that you weren't around when they were younger?
I don't know, I'd rather not talk about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I am sort of, yeah. Well, I don't know, yeah, I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wasn't, you know, wasn't married to the mother when we weren't together.
Yeah.
So,
There's a
but
beautiful...
no, actually, no, I'm not. I struggle with it. I don't really know what to do. No, I'm not okay with that at all. Yeah.
There's a line from a Dylan song, "I've still got the scars that the sun didn't heal."
No, does the sun heal scars?
I would have to ask him.
Have you got 6 children with the same
No.
woman? No.
No. So that awareness that you're always carrying... this makes sense. You're always carrying a whole.
Yeah, well, you see, because you see now how important it is, you know, for them to have their parents there, you know? And so you just wonder, you know, Mind you, if they're good parents, you know, I mean, I suppose back then it wouldn't have been very healthy for them to be anywhere near me. So,
No, and you were young as well, you know, so, you know.
well, I still carry the scars that the sun hasn't healed anyway. You know?
Good line.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, then. Is that it?
Thank you.
Off-ski.
That's it. You're all done.
All right, good stuff.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, if you're ever in Normandy, give us
Yeah.
a bell.
Yeah, I will do. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right, man.
Ta-da.